Buenos dias, mis families y amigos. Good morning, family and friends. I come to you this morning, it's early, with another video. And this video is about the conclusion of Nebuchadnezzar. So I'm going to sum everything up today about Nebuchadnezzar. So we're in Daniel chapter 3. So Nebuchadnezzar was a king of Babylon, and we left off where he had, it was after he had put Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the furnace, and he's seen another person who looked like the Son of God. And so he didn't know the true God until he tried to hurt God's children. And then that's when he found out that there's a God of great power and you don't mess with his children. So when they came out the furnace, and I think it was Daniel 4:26. Daniel 4:26. I'm sorry, you guys. It's kind of still, the sun is still trying to come out. It's about 6 something in the morning. And I'm still trying to wake up, even though I was up much earlier. So let's go to 4:26. No, it's not 4:26. That's the 4:26. Let's see here. No, but it's 3:26. I don't know why I was saying 4:26. Okay, and in 3:26, Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spoke and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And so here we go. We had where everyone witnessed this great power and this protection over God's people, or his children. They witnessed it. The princes, the governors, the captains, the kings, counselors, being gathered together, saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power. Oh, fire had no power. Nor was a hair of their heads singed. Neither were their coats changed, nor they didn't even smell like fire. So it says, nor the smell of the fire had passed on them. So then Nebuchadnezzar spoke and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And let's see what else went on here. He said, who have sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him. Yeah, they had great trust in God Almighty, and have changed the king's word. Yeah, the king's word had no power over them. And yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own. Wow. So that is what Nebuchadnezzar learned when messing with God's children and tripping off the power, He was tripping off the power. But there's no greater power than God. You can't overrule the one who gave you power. So, Neb got all this power, to have this kingdom, this great kingdom. And then he started tripping and tried to hurt God's children. He had no permission, no power over them to hurt them or to influence them to worship other gods or this statue that he had created of gold and telling them to bow down to. So after that, there's consequences. So let's move on. I'm gonna take a sip. I'm still trying to wake up. So after that, I do want to say, how many know this God? How many know this God? Raise your hand. Yay! He will definitely do it for you. What mighty faith that these men had to stare death in the face and say, my God has power and you have no power over me. So it indeed made a believer out of Neb. But the thing about Neb, let's read in chapter 4 and 3. Neb had another dream. Again, there's consequences to your actions, and you don't mess with God's children. So he's in he said, I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. Well, I bet he called those magicians again, those ones who practice magic. I wonder if they could tell him about his dream this time. Let's see. In chapter 4:7, it said, Then came in the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof. So Daniel, being a man of God, Neb sought out Daniel, and Daniel sought out God, of course, because only God could give this interpretation, not even man. So Daniel, being a man of God, God gave him the ability to tell Nebuchadnezzar what his dreams mean. But Nebuchadnezzar, he couldn't um, comprehend this great God. He's seen his power during the whole furnace episode, but he still couldn't comprehend this God. And I say that because he referred to Daniel. It said, but at last, chapter 4:8. But at last Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belteshazzar. That's the name he gave him. According to the name of God, in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And before him I told the dream, saying, O Belteshazzar, let's say Daniel, master, he called him the master of magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in thee, and no secret trouble thee. Tell me the visions of my dream I have seen and the interpretation thereof. And so, to sum it up, Nebuchadnezzar had a dream about this beautiful, strong tree in the midst of the earth, which heights reached the heaven. So this big tree full of fruit, the birds come and sit on the branches. It gave shade to the animals. It fed the animals, the beasts, the humans. And what happened to this dream? What happened to this tree? It was destroyed and left as a stump. So let's go to verse 14. In chapter 4, verse 14, he cried out loud and said, thus hew down the tree and cut off the branches, shake off the leaves and scatter his fruit. Let the beasts get away from under it and the fowls from its branches. Nevertheless, leave the stump of its roots in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth. Let his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him. So that was the dream. And when I think of the 7 times pass over him, Nebuchadnezzar heated up that furnace 7 times more than usual because he was upset, because they didn't bow down and worship the statue, the golden statue. And so there's consequences. So the interpretation of this dream is in Daniel chapter 4, 22. And we're going to go down to 27. Daniel said, it is thou, O king, that art grown and become strong, for thy greatness is grown and reacheth unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth. So he's describing him as this strong tree. It's him. And whereas the king saw a watcher and a holy one coming down from heaven and saying, hew the tree down and destroy it, Yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with a band of iron and grass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which is come upon my lord the king. So God gave this decree over Neb for the thing he did when he was tripping off that power. So in verse 25, we're going to move on. That they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. I think I pulled too many pages. And whereas they commanded to leave the stump of the tree roots, thy kingdom shall be sure unto thee. After that thou shalt have known that the heavens do rule. Wherefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable unto thee, and break off thy sins by righteousness, and thy iniquities by showing mercy to the poor, if it may be a lengthening of thy tranquility. So after Daniel told Nebuchadnezzar the interpretation of the dream, give me one moment, take a sip of this. He basically gave him some advice. He know that he did a bad thing, and God has ordered this punishment over him. And he's like, make it right, be kind to the poor. Stop, anything bad you're doing. Do some good so that God will have mercy upon you. Because what God has ordered is bad for Neb. It's something new. He's about to be punished. And he's this great king, and now he's gonna go through shame. He's gonna just gonna be embarrassed. And Daniel's like, but Neb probably didn't take his advice. And Neb probably didn't try to get to know this God, the true God, the only God, the creator, the God of power, the God over men. They created the heavens and earth. And so it's kind of a shame for Neb to go from king to being like an animal, like the beast of the field. So moving on. I think if Neb would have tried to seek God and get to know him, that God would have had great mercy upon him. And maybe he wouldn't have been, maybe he wouldn't have still been king, Because as you remember in the first dream, there were other kingdoms after him. But, maybe he wouldn't have been in the field, like a beast in the field with a beast heart, and maybe it would have been changed had he tried to get to know God, the God that he witnessed save Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego from a furnace in which he tried to kill them for not worshiping his gods and his statue. And so it's unfortunate for the king to be once a king and then accounted as like nothing because of he tried to kill God's children who were protected under his power. And you can't go against God's power. There is a scripture in, I believe it's Acts 5:39, where if it be of God, ye cannot overthrow it, least happily you would be, even to fight against God. So I hope that I did give you, yes, Acts 5:39. So in conclusion, we're in today's time, and it's like, how do you feel? Are there nations fighting today over power, wanting this power that only God giveth? He said in his word, when I was reading Nebuchadnezzar, God give whoever he wants to give this power to. And so, what do you think about today's world in which we are and the power that the kings and people in power that's been given this power over man to rule? What do you think about our today era versus in the time of Nebuchadnezzar in those days? Fast forward to these days. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that? Leave your comments in the comment sections and I will review it. And I thank you so much for watching. And I'm going to give you a Spanish word today because last time I was like, goodbye. I kind of don't like saying goodbye, but I do like the meaning and of the Spanish word. Adios. Or I could say, what's another word? Let's see. I could say nos vemos más tarde, like see you later. But today I'm going to just say adios, everyone. I hope that your day is filled with joy and peace and love. And I pray that you're prosperous in all your efforts today. And until next time, adios.